Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. This episode live from Jerusalem, Israel. In many respects, the center of the world, certainly the center of many religious worlds, as the state of Israel protects religious sites across the country for visiting of Christians, Muslims, Jews from around the world, all free, open, and able to visit. It is fabulous here. You can see in the background Jerusalem. As I'm coming to you live from our hotel here in Jerusalem. It has been a great visit to the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. Thousands of years continuing connection to the land of Israel. And it's really, truly an amazing place. And it's one that you don't see on the news. You see the hot spots, of which there are a few, certainly, and there have been over the last couple of years. But that is not this country in a nutshell. Certainly the threats are here, but this is a country that is secure and safe. I feel safety and community everywhere I go. It is peaceful. It is calm. It's a beautiful late afternoon, about ready to take on Shabbos and a Shabbat Shalom to everyone out there. But again, this is a loving and peaceful country, and you feel it everywhere. You feel the sense of community, the sense of your brothers, sisters walking amongst you, and if anyone needed help, there would be throngs of people there to help, whether Jewish, Christian, Arab, Muslim. They would, in general, all come running, and you can, again, feel that. The green that fills this land is amazing, as it is in the desert. This is more of a cityscape, but certainly the green of the desert is spectacular and miraculous in many ways. The agriculture, the energy, the parks, the community and family feeling that you get, second to none anywhere in the world. The foundation of Western values, Jewish values, upon which, in many respects, the United States was founded on, Judeo-Christian values. And you see here a clean, well-kept, whether you be in the cities or outskirts, communities that are beautiful. Great walking paths, hiking paths throughout the country. Roads fully developed, unbelievable tunnel system in order to allow for expressways to get from one place to another in the country in oftentimes, most often, less than an hour, and certainly less than 3 hours, even from north to the Negev. an incredible rail system, public transportation system, second to none. Uh, and it's frankly sad what we all see nightly on the news and what it has trained us without more research to believe about Israel, that it's a war-torn country that is unsafe to visit, that it engages in apartheid, genocide, that this is not the Jewish homeland, all those things, complete and total. Not two sides. Well, there's got to be some truth, to total lies. Uh, and there aren't two sides to it. If there is discrimination, if there are civil rights violations like there are in any country, they are taken up here in the state of Israel with a justice system, a very liberal justice system, second to none. A justice system made up of Muslims, Christians, Jews, a justice system grounded in fundamentals of justice. People seem to have their mind made up because of the constant drumbeat onslaught of these lies. Apartheid, it's outrageous to think that this culture is an apartheid culture. There is no basis for it. There are, again, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Arabs, Israelis in all walks of life with freedom to build and grow where they wish. Indeed, there are members of the Knesset who I probably don't have to say, but many people don't know. Members of the Knesset who are Arab and members who are Muslim. Uh, many members, as well as those on the Supreme Court as well, and they're represented. It has now been shown and widely accepted, if you do any sort of research into any legitimate resource, that no genocide occurred during the Gaza war. Most countries would have completely destroyed the entirety of the people, which Israel could have done had they been driven by that type of value system. They are not, and they were not. In fact, they put Israeli men and women, young men and women, at risk in order to follow the most ethical standards of warfare and human history. So genocide, no. Not the Jewish homeland is being preached. It's the theft, it's colonization, imperialism by the Jewish people, those that came out of the Holocaust, walking skeletons uh, who came to Israel to reestablish what there had been a continuous presence for thousands of years here, but to reestablish Israel as the Jewish homeland. It could have, in the partition plan that existed in 1947 that the Jews accepted, could have been a partition plan in which the Jews and Muslims, the Arabs, Palestinians in the area, Palestinian Arabs, that is, because there were as many or more during most of the time, Palestinian Jews, in fact. So this term Palestinian, has been taken by the Palestinian Arabs, who are in large part in the situation that they are in because of their corrupt leaders who have been given billions of dollars, and somehow Yasser Arafat and his daughter and wife were billionaires. How they became billionaires, don't you question? He was the leader of the PLO, the Palestinian Arabs, for decades, many decades. and they live in certainly less than favorable conditions, while again, he and his family are billionaires. And that he's just one example. So Palestinian leadership certainly did not uh, perform well, or in fact was entirely corrupt when it came to leading the Palestinian people. But they could have had their own homeland in 1947, and it was offered. They could have lived side by side. They could have been thriving with the Israelis, the Israeli Jews who uh, many Arabs live in the state of Israel. Many are citizens of the state of Israel. They all, as citizens, get to vote just like any other, and they send a dozen or more members to the Knesset as representatives with the same rights as any other representative in the Knesset. But they did not accept that partition plan. And since then, there have been offers of half a dozen other plans. And those plans, they rejected each and every one of them. This is not about living side by side. This is about the destruction of the state of Israel, the destruction of more so of the Jewish people. We saw it on October 7th with some of the most heinous atrocities that that you could imagine. So what about Iran? Hamas is an arm of Iran. Hezbollah is an arm of Iran. Hamas doesn't carry this out, this mission and these atrocities, without the approval and the support of Iran. And this is just the latest. It's the most horrific since World War II, but it's just the latest in the death and destruction brought to the Middle East as a result of Iran. Well, what does that have to do with the United States? Why should we be on the doorstep of war with Iran? That has nothing to do with us. Well, no. No country has killed more Americans in the last number of decades than the country of Iran. And since the mullahs have taken over Iran forcibly with talk about an quote unquote apartheid state, talk about a coup to take over the country. That is what occurred, militarily taking over and destroying all rights and values of the individual in Iran. That's what occurred in 1979. And since that time, they have been the largest state sponsor of terror anywhere in the world. They are the weakest they have been presently. This is a time to allow the people of Iran to take back their country and to govern themselves as they see fit. Death to America is not an accident. It is not a phrase that is hollow and has no meaning. It is one in which Iran has taken action upon action to carry out. And the United States has the opportunity now to do something about it. This isn't for the state of Israel. This is for the United States of America, bringing peace in the Middle East, which removal of the mullahs in Iran would move us extraordinarily closer to peace in the Middle East. And doing that will have great positive benefits for the United States. Not just the United States as allies, not just democracy around the world, although those things are very important, but for the United States directly by reducing the threat of terrorism, by eliminating the largest state sponsor of terror in the world, by relieving the pressures that exist on energy and energy consumption when this part of the world is ablaze. Uh, by getting some stability in this part of the world, stability that creates much better free and open markets as it relates to energy in the world, not having a gun to our head, not knowing if prices are going to skyrocket because of a terror organization like the leadership in Iran having control over uh, oil and oil reserves in such a large quantity. All of that give reason, obvious reason, why we would move now. The biggest enemy is not, in terms of being a foe in the face of war against Iran, is not Iran itself, because they are weak. They are a paper tiger at best. And I predict that if there is a launch properly done, which it will be, I believe, by the Department of War in the United States, that it will be short, swift, and effective, because the defenses that Iran has, again, are at their weakest. And this is the time to do it. Many times, those mainly on the left, but not entirely, those isolationists on the right as well, have cried out, no, let's not do it. It's going to be a third world war and there'll be bloodshed across the world and we'll be bogged down in a forever war. That has not uh, come to pass at all. In fact, the opposite has occurred uh, on a number of occasions. Soleimani moving the embassy to Jerusalem here in Israel, um, uh, going into Venezuela and taking Maduro. All of these sort of actions, the bombing of the Fordow nuclear plant, the nuclear facilities of Iran, uh, all of this has and more have been, uh, they've been screaming from the rooftops that it's going to cost American blood and treasure across the board. Everything that we do is going to be another Iraq or another Afghanistan, which both of those examples were carried out and resulted in negative results because of the Democrats who made decisions regarding them. Oh, he brought up Democrats. I mean, now this is being political. That's not the point. The point is, Iraq became the disaster that it was, the complete loss that it was, because Barack Obama handled it the way he handled it. It was at the height of the campaign and the most important period when he took office in Iraq. And he said, we're getting out. And he pulled out immediately without um, uh, concern for what might come next. And we completely lost any of the benefits and all of the benefits that might have come later, or some of which had already come in Iraq, and in fact created a vacuum, allowed Iran to become much more powerful. Had we stayed the course, that would not have happened. Now, many people disagree with me on that, both on the right and on the left. They just simply say, no, we should have never gone in. That was a complete waste, etc. It was not. If you go back in history and not just rely on what the media was covering, but research and take a look at where we were at when Barack Obama took office and what a different policy might have done had he stayed the course, at least until you could create meaningful stability in Iraq to maintain a wall against Iran. That didn't happen. It strengthened Iran. And as we know, Barack Obama went on to further strengthen Iran by not only cementing the mullahs in place, but giving them $100+ billion to prop them back up after George W. Bush had put some of the harshest sanctions to date at that point against Iran. He basically befriended and tried to create a relationship with these enemies of the civilized world, not recognizing that we are in a war for civilization here, and refusing to acknowledge that. Tucker Carlson now refuses to acknowledge that. Barack Obama and his uh, offspring of later years, many of whom have followed in his path completely, including Joe Biden, uh, fail to understand that, you may want peace and not want to have war and talk all the nice things and give gifts to the terrorist regimes. That doesn't mean they don't want war. And the fact of the matter is, they do. And they have shown it time and time again, either through their proxies or themselves, in wreaking havoc, not just in the region, but many American soldiers have died at their hands as well. And of course, in Afghanistan, Biden did a horrific job of getting out of Afghanistan. Again, another example. So, what do we see on the left, both in Western Europe and in the United States? We see appeasement, consistent appeasement. Oh, let's avoid war at all costs, and let's make sure everybody knows that we're going to avoid war at all costs. And you know what that results in? Doesn't result in peace. We have not had peace. It doesn't result in peace. It results in a forever war. It results in the specific result that you want to avoid. Whereas if you go in, surgical strikes when they're at their weakest, and you remove the cancer from the Middle East, then you have a shot at forever peace, not forever war. That's something that Tucker Carlson doesn't understand. The isolationists on the right don't understand. Their policy of just staying out of it is going to cause death, destruction, and war for the United States, not avoid it. Not avoid it. This is the time. And we need to support the president in moving forward, because you know that a Democratic president would never even consider it. Erroneously so. Huge error for those around the world who care and are peace-loving. I'm Andrew Parker. You're listening to The Andrew Parker Show. Go to theandrewparkershow.com. theandrewparkershow.com. You can sign up there. You can subscribe. Take a listen to all the various episodes. We're now on, I think it's close to 460 episodes. Find your favorite, listen, and listen often. Until next time, live from Israel, be kind to your neighbor. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard and True North Private Investments. Mark Twain once quipped, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. When you are lied about and it spreads, the resulting mayhem and destruction can be, and often is, disastrous." Hi, this is Andrew Parker, co-founder of the Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm. I recently handled a high-profile defamation lawsuit on behalf of a luxury home real estate agent whose business was decimated by falsehoods spread about him. After nearly 2 years of litigation and 2 weeks of trial, the jury came back with a verdict of more than $2 million for our client. Parker Daniels Keyboard.
We litigate cases, we try cases, and we win cases. With a record of excellence in achieving extraordinary results, Parker Daniels Keyboard lawyers have consistently won huge verdicts for its clients in the areas of defamation, civil rights violations, regulatory battles, and intellectual property theft. For wise counsel and winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, premier law firm in downtown Minneapolis. Looking to reduce your tax liability and grow your portfolio? Consider Texas-based Texacoma Resources. They have been delivering results for over 40 years in energy investments. Investors may benefit with strategic advantages like depreciation, depletion, and drilling, but should consult their tax advisors for their specific situation. Call True North Investment at 612-968-3442 to learn more. That's True North Investment, 612-968-3442. Texacoma Energy that works for you. For more Smart Plain talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope.